Hi, my name is Drea Aguirre, and I am going to show you how I grade my Pear Deck lessons. So I'm currently supporting Bill Roberts in teaching their sixth grade social studies classes. And for most of these sessions that I have with them, it's asynchronous. So they're completing the work on their own pace at their own time. And I give them like weekly due dates. So they just have to finish all of the materials in their folders by the end of the week. And so one of the ways that I give them lesson notes and content is through Pear Deck, but I want to make sure that as they're doing these little activities that I'm checking for understanding with, they're getting feedback on them. And again, like with it being graded, it's giving them the accountability of like actually having to do it. So what I do is at the end of the week, I go into Pear Deck and I go into my sessions. And then I go to these three little dots here. I end the session, and then I export to Spreadsheet. And so then while that's doing its thing, I go ahead and reopen the session and I turn on student pace mode again. And the reason I do this is because I give them feedback through the comments. And so they have to be able to go back in to see my comments. When I export to like their takeaways, those comments don't appear on there. So I want to leave these open so that they can go back and revise their work if they need to. So once I export, it's going to give me this giant spreadsheet. And so I essentially take this and I make it into this. And so I just split the first last name. I add a column, and then I renumber the slides. And I've already gone over, like I've taken the Pear Deck as a student, not only because I just want to make sure that everything looks good and it's like a final once over and that my questions are clear, but I also go ahead and answer all of them so that I have like an answer key going on at the top here. So I just copy pasted the answers into here. And that way I can just scroll through and easily give the kids scores. So they get a score for every single interactive slide they get. Sometimes their Pear Deck lessons are worth 22 points. Sometimes they're worth 50. Just depends on how many slides they have to do in that lesson. So I'll go through and I'll grade all of them. So they get 2 points if they get it right. 1 point is for attempting, but they weren't quite there. And then 0 if they didn't do it. And so I'll go through and do that. And as I'm grading them, I'm getting an idea of like where the vast majority of them are getting confused. And so as I'm going through them, just I use notes, but you could easily use a Google Doc or anything like that. I go through and for that slide, here's the feedback that I would give them. And so then I'm able to copy and paste this into the students who need feedback. So I'll go through an entire question. And once I'm done grading that entire question, I use the filter button. And I want to take out all of the zeros and ones because zeros is they just didn't do it. So I'm not going to give them feedback on not doing it. And then 2, they don't need any feedback because they got the answer right. So I just want to see the students who got a 1 on it. And so then from there, so I can go in and I can open my teacher dashboard. And then I just go through and I only have, like this one only has a few that need that feedback. So I just go in, copy my feedback, and then paste it in as a comment. And then they know when they check their grades, if they get a low score and they know they did the entire assignment, they're able to go back in and make those changes. And then they just send me a message on Schoology or via email, and I'll go back and look at their work again and give them points back for making those corrections. So then once I'm done going through and grading all of them, what I do is I just do a sum function here. And so it's going to add up all of the columns there. And then this is the score that I put into Schoology. So when I'm grading, I typically have these columns frozen. And so that way I can just scroll all the way over and quickly put in their scores in Schoology.